Let's go back just to when he got elected. Who was his mentor? George Gascon. He sat in a Board of Supervisor meeting and bragged that his team reduced the count in the jails to 12,500 inmates. George Gascon did not file 14,000 cases. A deputy from fire camps, married to a Lakewood deputy, takes his own life. Luna's aware of it. He didn't go. Him and his wife went to the pool.
Welcome to the Proper Scoundrel Show.
Good morning. Thank you for coming out here today.
Oh, no, it's my honor. Thank you for having me.
It's mine. It's mine. I know a little bit about your career. When did you decide you wanted to be the sheriff?
That's a good question. When Luna came in.
Okay. That was deciding factor right then.
Well, it took a little while because I was watching. And then I've seen what he's done to the deputies and what done to the department. And that was a catalyst. That was a catalyst.
You had to do something.
The damage he's done. Yes, 100%. I worked Fiscal Center when it was a jail. Out of the academy. It came on in 85, did the jails at Fiscal Center, then 7 years at East LA. It's actually where I met Alex back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Good station.
And then I had the honor of 15 years at S.E.B. 4 years in K-9 and 11 years on the SWAT side.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, it was amazing.
Nice.
And it went in the blink of an eye. Worked with the finest men and women this department produces. And then, like we talked off the air a minute ago, the only reason I left S.E.B. was we had bonus one money at the time.
Yeah.
And it was for retirement. So promoted, went to CJ, which I had never worked. So that was interesting. Did a couple years there, went out to South LA, a couple years there, took the lieutenant's test, got band one. Back to the jails at IRC, which was eye-opening. And then at IRC, they sent me to records. Mm-hmm. And that was during the first Trump administration, so all the ICE stuff came up.
Okay.
I was a records lieutenant, all fell in my lap.
Yeah.
Long story short, and then Alex came in and wanted to remove ICE, and what he was saying, how he was going to do it, wouldn't have worked. So I kind of counseled him on how we do it the right way, legally, Senate Bill 54, AB4, all that. I was the expert on all that. Like you, I was always taught when I was a young man, whatever job you're given, you do it to the best. Yep. Whether you're getting the coffee or you're the first guy through the door. You do it the best of your ability. Well, every job I've ever had, that was, how I've always done it. So everything, and I ended up in the custody world, which was not my world. Well, then I got to learn it.
Yeah. Which
I did. So long story short, when Luna won the election, I've never met the man. Haven't talked to him. I got a phone call on a Saturday afternoon saying he was going to get rid of the assistant sheriff of custody. Called me Bruce Corbett. I said, well, you want Bruce Chase or Brendan Corbett? Which one do you want?
Yeah.
And it wasn't him. It was one of his guys. So the writing was on the wall. I'm out.
Okay. I
said, well, that's me. I could hear you. You know that. So I went off and had shoulder work and surgery. I've never met Mr. Luna. That to me was telling. I'm his expert on immigration and ICE. I'm the expert on the consent decrees in your jails. I went to federal court. I testified. I know all this. So I'm roundabout answering your question.
No, I get it.
Who is going to do this? Who's running your department? So then I sat back and watched the damage from day one, what he was doing to decimate a department that I grew up in. And I wore that badge with that blue ribbon said deputy sheriff for 37 years. The only time it doesn't say deputy sheriff when you get to assistant sheriff. Okay, but you're a deputy sheriff up to that point.
That's true.
And then I was getting calls every day. What the damage they're doing, what they're doing. Please come back. Well, I can't come back. Okay, that's when we made the decision to run. We need to take it back and put it in the hands of those individuals that know how to run the department, know what we're looking at, and try to undo the damage this man has done. And it will take a little time. It's doable. You talk to the kids in the street, the deputies and the men and women working in a radio car, and they're defeated.
Oh, yeah.
They're defeated. And I mean, I started training right before Rodney King. So we've all had the fireman mode, that kind of thing, where you're like, we don't know what to expect. Let's just slow it down. That's what they're living right now, day in and day out. Fight or flight syndrome every day. Mm-hmm. And no support.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why I'm running.
Good reasons.
And I've got the resume nobody has. If you think about it, I know patrol. I know special ops. I know the jails. I know the courts. I ran the jails during COVID.
Whoa. Really?
So I was the chief and the assistant sheriff during COVID. It's 17,000 inmates. When the courts shut down, I worked hand in hand every day with Judge Oda, who was a presiding judge. I know the courts. No other candidate has that experience level to know all of the department and how it works. And the guy in the chair right now sure doesn't have a clue.
No, he's giving it to someone else to do, and they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
That's dangerous. And you see what's happening. Everything's lost. You mentioned something a minute ago, and I mentioned it too. I get a lot of emails and text messages from deputies. A lot of deputies follow this channel, and they're asking for help. What is a guy in a radio car right now pushing that car every night? What does he have to look forward to?
Great question. Less people to help them, less rest, less working out, less everything. They have less. We always prided ourselves on doing more with less on the sheriff's department. We could do so much more with less. You know, LAPD has the same amount of sworn. They only have the city. Yeah. We have the jails, the courts, and the entire county. We've always done more with less.
Yes.
But it's gotten to the point where the deputies in the field are not supported. The deputies and not just a radio car. It's a little bit more controlled environment, but also in the jails and in the courts. There's not enough deputies to go around. There's a 25% vacancy rate. But you've got a sheriff that hasn't tightened his belt and stopped running the department like it's fully staffed in 1990-something. He's not fully staffed. You need to start cutting back on these offline admin positions and start putting people back in the field where they belong because the deputies are paying the price. Stop these contracts for parades and football games and all that and doing it on the back of deputies. They're exhausted. Finally say, no, we can't do it. Find somebody else. Sorry, that's not popular, but that's what you have to do. And then streamline the department, bring it back and put them all in a radio car. Sorry to the people that got themselves finally in an admin position, but
it's true. It's true.
You need to go back and be in the field.
It's emergency level now. What you do is you start over. It's a word for it. You start over. Let's start back from the basics. Patrol, jail, courts, TST, every unit we do. Let's take it down to the minimums. And then if you have extra, maybe you can go there. But we don't have time for extra. We shouldn't be passing out soccer balls at the park. We don't have time for that deputy to be there. Fully sworn working in YL. Great program. But this isn't the time to have a guy there. He should be pushing a car. Community relations, you have 2 or 3 guys. Maybe you need 1 or 2. I'm sorry. The levels now, because I'm hearing guys do double doubles, double triples. If we haven't done the stats on who's been getting hurt by that, driving home that tired, stress at home with their families, stress on their hearts, medical problems, there's got to be a level that's going through the roof right now because no one does doubles and then they're okay. Now doing double triples? No way. There's no way to survive that physically. These guys are going to break, and they are breaking.
They are breaking. No, we're past the point of they're going to break. You look at their physical fitness levels. It's because they don't have time to take care of themselves. They don't have time to eat right. They don't have time to be with their family. They're exhausted. And now they're tasked with making instant decisions that'll be questioned for 20 years after they work. Yep. It's not fair.
No.
There's things we can do right now to eliminate some of the demand on deputies. Just for an example, video arraignment. You talk to TST, driving the buses, getting these inmates to court back and forth. Well, you do video arraignment or video appearances. The public defender's fighting the video arraignment. They say they can't represent. Well, how about video appearances where somebody's mentally ill and now you got to drive them, you medicate them, take them to the court, then hopefully they don't decompensate and fight you on the way back. How about you walk them from their cell in front of a camera and do an appearance on a dry run?
Yeah.
There's things that could be done.
That makes sense.
Right now, and that eliminates the workload on the deputies, whether it's the jail deputies getting them prepped, the TST deputies, the court deputies. You just eliminated 80% of their runs.
Yeah.
And I've talked to the PD, and he supports that.
That's a great idea.
There's a lot of those that we could do to help the deputies. Why aren't we doing that? Because you have a sheriff that doesn't know how the department runs. He doesn't know what to do.
He's relying on people that don't know what to do. I'm going to keep harping on that. You got to surround yourself around good people. I surrounded myself around great people. I had the luxury of being able to pick and choose some of my units. You're going to come work with me. Okay, you basically do it. Hey, come to my unit. Come to my unit. And it's self-serving because I know you're going to be good in my unit. You want those people around you that are going to take care of you. He's sitting there on an island from another department, that doesn't, too small for this department. And the people around him aren't the people. None of them are wouldn't be on my short list, wouldn't be on my long list. It wouldn't be on any list. None of them. And I was on department, 32 years, so I know a couple names, good names. But he has nothing to do with those people. He's actually chosen people that won't tell him what to do, won't give him good advice, won't give him experience because they don't have the experience. So he's in this room with these people, and they're spouting out stuff, and he's taking it and using it. And then it's obvious by what he's doing, because that's not what anybody should be doing. His priorities are all skewed. They're totally off the board. And it's obvious that he's getting the wrong information. I heard something you said a while ago on one of your podcasts, or I think it was the news. You talked about reserves. And I think that's a fantastic idea. I work with some fantastic reserves. These guys were like having a guy that was there every day. I know they don't work all the time.
100%.
Outstanding cops. Outwork some of the guys that were full-time. And they love being there. They're doing it voluntarily, so they would love being there. But it wasn't a lapse of, he's a reserve deputy. No, it's like, so-and-so's here. Cool, let's go do some stuff. That's a unit that needs to be brought up to numbers, maybe past the numbers it used to be. What do you think?
Well, I mean, at some point, I think, so if you remember the interim Sheriff Scott, he's the one that gutted it. They had a rank structure. They had like 2,000 reserves. He's the one that came in and cut it.
Why?
Got rid of politics.
Politics.
So you had an amazing reserves.
Yes.
Even as recently as a few years ago, we had 900. We're down to 400 now. And like you said, these are men and women that want to come. They want to work. Hey, how about your whole CCW crew doing background to reserves? You get those sworn deputies back in the field. How about these administrative positions? You could do it with. I'm not trying to take deputy jobs. Trust me.
No.
I would never replace a deputy. I would never get rid of a deputy position or deputy item. And you'd work with the unions to do this. We got to get help back on the line where it belongs. And the reserves, by the way, at different levels, can do either admin or in a radio car to help. When you had the mutual aid with the fires, where's the reserves that we would always have?
Mm-hmm. We took Tom Bender to our warrants, and he served them with us at OSS. Reserve.
We have an amazing reserve that's at S.E.B. right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the military has reserves for a reason. It's proven that you can use reserves, and they can fit into the department. Right now, they need those numbers. That would be a place to go.
Yes.
It's an easy resource. These guys want to work for the department. Sign them up. Doesn't cost. You can't say it costs you anything.
Also, it's the best way to start recruiting again.
Yeah, and a lot of them become full-time.
Yes. Yeah, and if they don't want to become full-time because they have another gig that pays a lot more, let's use their expertise and their dedication. They put in more than 40 hours often.
They love it. They want to stay.
And I would actually, with that, reconstitute a bit of a rank structure. Mm-hmm. So you used to have rank up to chief for reserves.
Yeah.
I don't want to go that high possibly, but maybe up to a sergeant, lieutenant, maybe a captain, because at a station, and you know as well as I do, the reserve coordinator at the station used to be somebody that didn't want to do the job. And they wouldn't really do as much as they could. Well, if you have a reserve with some rank, to keep the line of communication going with the station operations, to give them the flow of communication, to empower them and coordinate, it's a win-win.
I don't see.
And it costs $1 a year.
Exactly. You can't say it's too much money.
All I want to do is focus all the resources back to the line. Mm-hmm. You said it a while ago. We got to rebuild the department on a solid base foundation. The deputies and professional staff. Remember, the professional staff's gutted too.
Yeah.
24% vacancy. That's our department. That's the backbone of our department. And right now, he looks at them like a liability and not a commodity. Mm. And that's not how you do it.
No, they're the best.
The professional staff, and I remember growing up as a young deputy, if you had the answer, you didn't have the answer, you went to the station secretary. Mm-hmm. And by gosh, if she didn't know, her aunt, her sister, her mom, her cousin, somebody would know. Yeah. It was a family. Yeah. That's gone.
Yeah, and they're part of the community. I remember they would tell me stuff that was happening in the community. When I was Norwalk OSS, my Norwalk secretary and the station secretaries would tell me, "Thank you for cleaning up the street. I live on that street."
Yes.
Like, you live in the one-ways? Yeah, I still live in the one-ways.
Yes.
But you took so-and-so and so-and-so to jail the other day, and now the streets are nice. And shit, that's a cool connection. It's a nice thing. I'm not saying they're snitches. I'm just saying they're happy that we were there. But it's cool that they come from the community because you want to help them more so now that you know them. I guess it's a little bit more incentive, but it makes you work a little harder. My secretaries, I would tell my family all the time, they're like sisters to me. They took care of me. They've helped me. They've done stuff for me. Like, they protect you. They do. I remember my last secretaries would call us, these are my guys. These are my guys. This is my team.
100%.
And that's a very special person.
And you don't want to leave them out of the conversation of 24% vacancy rate, unprecedented vacancy rate of professional staff. Their impairments are above the sworn right now. Historically, that's never happened.
No.
What's that tell you about morale?
No.
They don't care. They just want out. Nobody wants to work for this guy, and it's telling.
Yeah.
It takes a year to do a background for professional staff. A year, really? No, I want to get that down to a 60-day contingent offer of employment. How about I have reserves doing backgrounds? How about we outsource? Yeah. We hire a company to do some of the background, and then we just finish it up for what we need. Because if you wait a year, they're going to somewhere else. They need to work.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it.
Well, the secretaries and the professional staff help the deputies free up to go do the job.
Oh, my gosh.
When I go put in a gun, I get back out faster if she's good at her job. If I want to input a card, same thing. They're efficient. I can get back to my job. If there's no one there, you got to go. It slows you down. A good professional staff will make your teams and your stations run more efficiently. It's all about time, right? You want the guys in the car, in the field. You don't want them sitting in the station. And the secretaries, they keep track of your paperwork. As a sheriff, you're always answering to stats, numbers. They're the ones who do all the numbers. Stats, the stat people that tell you where the crimes are, they put you in the right area to work. They're outstanding people. They're your resource that you got to build, not let go down, 25%?
Well, I was blessed. My training officer told me day one, you don't make them mad.
No. You make them happy. Here's some food. Here's some.
They can make your life great, like you said, and get you in and out,
or make it miserable.
You want to pull a warrant? Yeah, go have a seat.
I could say those stories too.
But that's they're forgotten in this conversation because we're talking about the sworn vacancies. This professionals they're missing.
Well, that's the department. That's part of the department,
and people don't realize that's what keeps you afloat. They pay the bills. They process the paperwork. You just said something a minute ago of you have your data analysts to tell you where the crime is happening. That's great right now because we don't have any resources to put there when you identify it.
Exactly.
What do you do? He created this big, huge, under the office of the undersheriff, the data analyst team and all that. And I've talked to some captains and deputies who go, that's well and good, but are you going to give me anything to
use it
to help reduce the crime there? Remember the old GET team used to go out and saturate. We would do saturation patrol. They can't help.
No.
There's no resources to focus on that. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it tells. And nobody's telling him, you need to downsize this and put the resources back on the line. Perfect example of that. Custody has the Custody Force CFIT team, investigations team, 8 sergeants. And all they do is write Cat 2 use of force.
That's it.
For the consent decree stuff. That's an entire station's worth of sergeants doing one. And by the way, all have county cars, take-home cars. The county cars are through the roof, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute, the spending. But you have all these sergeants doing one category of force because of the ROSAS, force settlement. No, that's not necessary. You've got great sergeants in the jails that are doing these. Give them some help. Mm-hmm. Put those sergeants back on the line where they belong to give them help. Well, it's so mismanaged.
If you have sergeants in the field, fine, but you don't. You don't have the resources to be sticking in these pet projects to make some one little group happy. What is the minimum requirement for that decree? What is the minimum requirement for those monthly meetings? Meet that. You don't need to the Sheriff's Department has a really big problem of overdoing shit. I'm just going to say it. Every time someone says something to the department and they want answers, they overreact by throwing all these resources at it, but it doesn't need that much. Whatever they're asking for, they want to see that we're not hiding force. We're not
100%.
We're not doing this. We're not doing that. It doesn't take that much because everything's documented. Every report goes in the computer. One guy just needs to punch up how many reports are written on these crimes. I can tell you how many times force was used every month just by punching it in. How many reports are written? Because a report is written for every incident. Why do you need all those people to tell me the same answer?
So the consent decrees were interesting. And if you remember, there were 63 provisions on one of them with the force. Lee Baca just said, okay, we agree to all of it.
I remember.
Just to your point.
I remember.
Said, whoa, not all of it will never get in compliance because each provision had like 100 little under provisions.
I remember.
That's why we're still fighting it. Instead of saying, okay, let's actually get down to the bottom here of what we really want to do, he gave too much.
Well, we know why. We knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah, the CCJV and all of that.
He was trying. He was trying hard.
Honestly, a lot of it was warranted. There was things that we needed to change, how it was going, what we were doing, and it was warranted.
But a guy who said he got hit in 1992, he didn't need to be re-interviewed. He didn't. No. And they were driving all over the country talking to guys who filed a force beef in 1999 and saying, did this force happen? It was already investigated. It was already done. And I know guys that had to do it because they're saying they had no idea what we were talking about.
Correct.
And most of them are still in jail, so I had to go to prison now to talk to them about when they were in a force incident in county jail in 1984. These guys were doing the most ridiculous stuff because he signed saying, we'll do all of it.
All of it.
So now you're using all these people again, resources that could go somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to say.
So that's why it's important. I mentioned my resume a while ago because I know all this history. I know the historical. I actually worked pretty well with OIG because I knew where to push back and say no, and then I knew where to give them what they needed. Because if you pushed all the time and kicked them in the shins, it didn't do any good. We need oversight. You just said it a minute ago. You know where to get the reports. You need to be able to see it. I got no problem with that. Bring it in. We're an open book.
Yeah.
But at some point, you say you need things of this. No, you don't. And you don't actually have the legal authority to get it.
There you go.
And if you respectfully pushed back, they're like, okay, yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Or if they brought something up, one of them, for example, was during the George Floyd protests. We had the deputies out on Boucher Street blocking the street, and they didn't have their numbers on their vests. It was an ERT. They didn't do it then. And it was brought to my attention by OIG. I said, you're absolutely right. We'll change that right now. And they put it in their report that, we found this happen. However, it was immediately resolved. That's the working relationship you have to do. But if they came out and said, you need to do X, Y, it was like, hold on a minute. No, we don't. You need to know the department. You need to know the historical. You need to know all that to do it properly. And that's what we're missing right now with this guy. He has, and the people around him, I don't know, they're not counseling him. But remember, you have Eileen Decker. He says he instituted the Office of Constitutional Policing. Actually, Jim McDonald did that with, you remember who? Diana Taran. He's not reinventing the wheel here, but he brought Eileen Decker in from LAPD. She was on the police commission. She doesn't know the sheriff's department. So you've got all these people counseling him, advising him. He's surrounded by Long Beach. That little group of Long Beach people, they don't know the sheriff's department, but that's his counsel. And I think it shows.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. And the deputies are paying the price. The professional staff are paying the price. Our communities are paying the price. The communities we serve are not being served properly. The deputies are tired. We have a $150 million deficit right now. They just put the brakes on last week and you will spend no more. Okay, well, that projection was 6 months ago and you just figured it out. That's $100 million overspending from last year.
Yeah, it's twice now probably. By if he did numbers today. But that's going to be overtime. That's going to be his pet projects.
Some of it's pet projects. Some of it's the overtime because of the personnel shortage. But a lot of it is not. I mentioned something a while ago. You know how many county cars, take-home cars people have? There's professional staff with take-home cars.
What?
Yeah. How much does that cost? Because remember, on a car, it's the maintenance, it's the fuel, it's $7 a gallon. And why are we doing that? I remember I had a station, the poor ops lieutenant, and the number 2 in the station had a pool car.
Yeah.
Now we're just giving him out wholesale. He's spending like it's a blank check. And it's not, because who pays the price? You got deputies in the field driving cars with 200,000 miles. And then you got a take-home car for professional staff.
Nope.
Detectives, I talk to kids at majors. They can't get cars.
So the guys that are on call, majors, S.E.B, all the guys who get on call should have a car. OSS.
Oh, and the ones at majors and OSS, the cars they have?
They don't have cars, or they're junk.
They're junk.
I've seen them. They're junk.
Yeah, if they have them.
I've seen one driving a driveway because my family member said, "What the heck is that?" That's my car. You're going to go to Lancaster if they call you out, and it's not going to make it. That's what they have. That's what they have.
Priorities are backwards. It's all the pet projects. It's all the offline support. We need to turn it back to the line. And I keep saying that, and I'm sorry to say it, but we need to support the deputies in the field and in the jails. You know, they're getting beat up too. When an inmate deaths are all over the news and all that, they always blame a deputy. Well, hold on a minute. Is there something else going on here that they're not getting supported right? They're not having enough professional staff or doctors or whatever. Why is it always a fault of the deputy? Didn't he do a good check? Well, hold on a minute. You know, Luna just came out bragging about his body-worn cameras in the jails. Actually, that was me. I did that in 2021, and the reason being, we'll go back to the consent decree. The monitors always accuse us of not de-escalating. You didn't talk them down. You didn't call for a sergeant. We have 1,000 cameras, but no audio. I only wanted the body-worn for audio. And every time it would prove the deputies tried to talk the guy down. He was swearing at him, cussing at him, doing all that. Well, now they have cameras changing behavior. The inmates know the camera's there, the behavior's changing. That's a win. He didn't do that. I did that in 2021 as a pilot on 3,000, and it worked amazing. The deputies are so smart. They would just hit the volume button, and it would beep, and the inmate thought the camera was recording. It wasn't.
Yeah, and it would stop them from acting stupid.
I wanted the audio. Because I believe my deputies when they said, "Sir, we talked that guy down for 15 minutes, but unless a sergeant was there with a handheld, you didn't have the audio. Now we do." That was the beauty of the audio, to support the deputies and the CAs and what they were saying in their reports that the monitors obviously were not believing. So those are the things that help. It just took so long to get the infrastructure. You got a big concrete building with steel doors and bars. It was hard to get the Wi-Fi and everything working.
Yeah.
And then the policy was a little clunky in the jails. Easy in a radio car, wheel to wheel. Get out of the car, turn it on, get back, turn it off.
Yeah.
Where do you turn it on and off in a jail? There's so many clinical spaces. HIPAA was difficult. So it took them a while.
Well, I was the guy that did the first body-worn analysis in the whole sheriff's department. They sent me to Vegas. And I argued a lot of points with the sheriff then. Said, yeah, body-worn sounds good. I love it. I love the idea of being able to state your case. But I don't like it when it starts to deal with speech.
When it what?
Speech.
Oh, yeah.
Private speech. Because we still have the same protections. I can talk to you in the radio car about my weekend.
100%.
And that's protected. My partner can forget to turn his off. And what I say during that time should be protected because it's Title III. You have all these different parameters and laws that say you cannot record my audio. Audio is protected more than anything in this world. Besides video all day long, but audio. And it's being used against deputies when it wasn't a scene, it wasn't a crime. It's somebody did they call it a survey or look back.
An audit?
Audit. And they heard him talking and he forgot to turn it off between the calls. And they giving him days off for this stuff. That's against the law. I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm going to tell you right now. That's his private speech. It's not about work. It's not an investigation. County doesn't have the right to it. That machine right there can be used against him. And I think that's 100% wrong. And I'm hearing stories about guys getting in trouble for their speech.
There are concerns with that.
Private speech.
When you think about it alone, if they're on a computer and they turn that thing on to go to a fight, it goes back a minute. Mm-hmm. You could see what was on that computer. That goes with sergeants. What if they're handling a grievance? What if they're... So, yeah, there are concerns that need to be...
That's my only concern is there's private speech. During the call and everything all day, when they're talking to a guy in the jail all day, I understand it protects our guys. In between those calls, that's my time.
100%.
And I have first, and you can't mess with that. And they're using it. And I told deputies, fight it. It's against the law for them to use that because that's your private time. It's not a call. The way they get around it in the department is You're investigating a crime. You're trying to gather evidence. All these things. I understand it. I've read it all because I teach this stuff. But I'm talking about you, and I'm having a private conversation with you. That's my conversation. It doesn't get used against me and give me a day off because I talked about someone behind their back or said whatever the hell I want. I can say whatever the hell I want during my time. You might not like it, but that's my speech. That's when I worry about it. And I worry about cops don't turn it off in time. When they get off a call, somebody forgets to turn it off. And then it's being used. And it does backdate. It's called a buffer. It'll buff and it'll stay something to do before and after. That scares me then because I worry about that stuff because it's too far. And it's going to be used. Maybe on the news. But it shouldn't even been looked at.
But God bless them, the deputies today and the CAs and the professional staff, they're smarter than we were. They're better trained than we were. They're more. They know more.
But cops, we do stupid stuff.
Yeah, I hear you, but they're so good at what they do.
They're great. They're great. The best ever.
And they've been trained now with the cameras. You and I didn't have that.
Yeah.
They grew up now.
Maybe I would forget, but they're doing it.
Yes. Well, and where's your unions then to defend them?
They should be on top of it, but they're doing other stupid stuff. But that should be the one fight they should be talking about.
They should be the unions helping them with that, and they need to be represented better with that. I'm disappointed with the unions we have right now.
Oh God, yes.
I don't think they're supporting the deputies and the professional staff like they should, or they could. I think their relationship with the sheriff is a little too close. You don't have to be adversarial.
No,
but you need to do. This is a case in point. Something like this needs to be discussed. It needs to be brought up. There needs to be parameters and firewalls put in to protect the deputies. Where's that at? Where's that conversation?
I don't know. It should be there. It should be front and center.
It should be.
Speech is most important. I did this stuff. I planted bugs. I had to stay in these parameters. You had to have paper. You have to all these things that have to take effect. I did wiretaps. I was on teams that did wiretaps. I know the rules. I'm a big advocate over my rights. I don't lose my rights because I'm a cop. These rights should be protected. I don't care if I'm wearing a uniform. They're using it, and it's illegal. And I want my guys to stop doing that because they were doing the wrong thing when the video first came out. They weren't collecting enough frames. And I talked about that. That's not evidence. Per NIST, it's not evidence. Do not admit to any force or anything they're telling you from that video until they started doing 15 frames and higher. I think they're at 20 frames now.
Well, initially it was also on servers.
Yeah.
The servers would go down, you'd lose it.
You'd lose it. So I said, you guys got to understand your rights. They're bullying you into confessing the things you said didn't happen because they're saying it's on video. Well, the video, you're saying that's not what happened. It didn't because the video isn't capturing it. They didn't capture enough frames. So I'm telling kids this. So I'm not saying to fight with your brass. I'm saying don't just jump on the sword if you didn't do something wrong. If you did something wrong, fess up. It's always the best thing to do. Always say, yeah, I screwed up. I messed up. I'll take my lumps. Don't hide shit and don't lie. But if stay by your guns or stick by your guns, if you know you didn't do it, and the video they're trying to tell you the video is different. It could be different. Video isn't always perfect. It isn't.
And honestly, it would get angles that would appear one way, and you finally get the other angle. It's totally different, which is again why the handhelds with the sergeant. But I do like the body worn.
I think the body worn is good for
going
protection.
to give so much. Well, in a fight, all you're going to see is somebody's back.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear.
Yeah, I get that.
I understand. And let's use the jails for an example right now for what you just said something. If something happened, report it. But we're taking kids that have never been trained in report writing, really. They have very little experience, especially custody assistants. True. You give them a blank piece of paper, say, tell me what happened. I was actually working towards creating a template for the jails.
Okay.
Fill in this. What was your standing to be there? Why were you there? Oh, I was working this position. What did you see? What did you do to guide? And by the way, county council was like, that's great. You could do this. Let's give them a template. Because if you give them a blank paper.
And they've never written
it, they're going to be 38 times coming back to the sergeant for corrections who doesn't have time to do that. Give them a template. You're not telling them what to say. No. You're not taking them down the path. But now you've made it easier. Oh, this is what you want. What was your standing? How many times did you hit? Did you kick? What did you see the inmate or the dude to the other? Real simple template. Yeah. Instead of I'm going back in the day for me, it was a half sheet memo force.
It was.
Now they have the 438, which it's still it's hard for a deputy or a CA that's a month out of the academy and its first use of force. What's his state of mind?
Well, the deputy that used to help you out, the OGs that were there, or the senior used to like walk you through things, not tell you what to write, but help you out. Those guys aren't there, or they're scared to help or make suggestions. Hey, let me read this first before you turn it in.
The problem with that, and I agree with you, they are there and they really want to help. They're so buried.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
I thought it looks like they don't want to stick their neck out for you. Like, I'm not going to help you.
I don't believe that. I really don't. I think the
get in
supervisors are there. There's a little liability risk, but they're also swamped.
Okay.
Especially, in the jails, they're writing inmate grievances, allegations which are bogus, which another thing the body worn is going to help make go away. They've got evals for 30 kids they've never met. They're trying to come out from underneath the force. They're buried. They're in the office. One of the beautiful things, and I'll give Joey Fennell and those guys that put 19 of us when I promoted to sergeant, we were tripping over each other. But that gave us the ability to go out and work with the deputies, to mentor, like you just said, to teach them, to work with them, to give them scenarios, get them prepared. To this day, I still have them call me, thank you.
Really?
Yes, because the sergeants are the first line of everything in the department.
Yep.
I used to teach brand new sergeants, the most important rank on the department, in my opinion, especially supervisor.
Absolutely.
4 T's. Team, training, tactics, technology. I said, you guys keep the 4 T's. Who's your team? You can't pick your team. It's given to you. But you need to know them. Who's going through a divorce? Who's sick? Who's a player? Who's having problems? Who's got a baby that's sick? You need to know your team because you may have to pull them out and not let them have inmate contact if something's wrong and their head's not in the game, to protect them.
Yes.
Know your team. Then you train them. You can't just say, well, you messed up. Nobody ever taught me. Okay, well, we're going to train you. We're going to give you as much training as we can to prepare you for this. And again, these young men and women today are smarter and better trained. They're better at what they do than we were.
Yeah.
So you do the training. Then you teach them tactics. Simple thing. When I first promoted to sergeant, we're in the jails, deputies are running and inmates are fighting. Hey, guys, don't do that. Let them get tired and call them out. We can do that? Yeah. And honestly, they want to stop fighting. So team training tactics, the last thing you rely on is technology. The taser, the spray, the whatever, because when you need it, it's going to fail. Just know that going in.
Yeah.
And if you follow those 4 T's as a sergeant, you're going to mentor those people. You know what's going on in their head, and then it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. I had a young man that, when I became a sergeant, remember, I'd never worked CJ. I was at S.E.B 15 years. I'm the cool guy, right? Lived in my bubble. Now I'm back to reality, policy. This young man took me under his wing. He was Felix Rodriguez. He was an ex-Marine, and he hung himself. That broke my heart, but I had to keep the deputies in the game. And shame on me. He was my deputy. Why did I not know what he was going through? And all the deputies said, no, that we didn't know.
Yeah.
He was IOD. He felt removed. He took his own life. Okay, that won't ever happen again. Yeah. And I would teach the sergeants, know your team. And that's even more important now than ever with what's going on. Because you have a sheriff that doesn't know his team, doesn't care about this team. It's not his team. He didn't grow up in this organization. There's a military term. I wasn't military, but there's a military term, stolen valor. When somebody pretends to be a Navy SEAL or get awards they didn't. This man is in here taking credit and accomplishments for this department that he's never earned. This is not his legacy, and he's throwing it away. He's hurting it every day because it's not his department. Honestly, at the end of the day, he doesn't care. Circling back to what you said, why am I running? That's why I'm running.
I got to touch on what you just said. I'm going to tell you, you just nailed it, because what I see when he gets out is he's pretending. It's like a costume. He's an actor. It just is. It's obvious, and I don't see how people don't see that he's not a sheriff. He's not a deputy.
That you just hit the nail on the head.
You don't have to be a sheriff. You have to be a deputy.
Yes.
And he stands up there, and I can see the discomfort in his face. Because every man, every woman in this world knows when they're out of place.
People have a short memory. Let's go back just to when he got elected. Who was his mentor? George Gascon. He sat in a Board of Supervisor meeting and bragged that his team reduced the count in the jails to 12,500 inmates. No, I know your team. I put them in place. They didn't do anything. George Gascon did not file 14,000 cases.
I know.
That's your mentor. That's who did it. And in that same conversation of the board, this man called inmates at Men's Central Jail, persons in your care, he called them as clients. Mm-hmm. And my clients at Men's Central Jail, okay, who are you playing to when you say that word? They're not clients. If you have a client, it's a give and take business agreement.
No, you're paying
No,
something.
these are people that are in there because they're accused of committing crimes. Honestly, mentally ill, I'll give you all day. But they're not in jail because they're mentally ill. They're in jail because they are charged with a crime. And remember, we don't put them in jail. Judges remand them. I'm all for programming and rehabilitation and doing it responsibly. I really am. And that's a big part of my campaign is I have a plan to do that and reduce homelessness and crime that our deputies are dealing with. This man doesn't get it. He's playing so hard, like you said, to say the right thing for that soundbite that he's missing. Everything is collaborate. I'm going to collaborate with this collaboration, and I'm going to collaborate on that. So he doesn't take responsibility.
Yeah.
The night of the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire and Altadena, he went home and went to bed. I know for a fact S.E.B. deputies were texting each other. We're going to have to deploy and get the armored vehicles. We got armored ambulances that could have gone and done evacuations. Mm-hmm. Never got deployed because he didn't know mutual aid. And nobody else stepped up.
You've been watching the show.
Oh, no, I've been talking to people. Trust me.
I've complained about the mutual aid. About one of them was, my biggest complaint is we respond to mutual aid and we sit in a parking lot and do a damn thing. You got 900 units sitting in a parking lot doing nothing for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the fire is. And it's embarrassing to me. I had a battalion chief.
How about playing golf on a deserted golf course?
That's ridiculous.
Because they didn't have a mission.
It's ridiculous.
They were self-deploying to do things. I know deputies that had shovels in their cars that were helping residents throw dirt on flames.
We were doing it. We snuck out, but we would get in trouble.
100%.
So, but we were sneaking out. We were bringing food to people. We were doing a lot of stuff you're not
Deputies being deputies.
But we were told to sit in this parking lot. And I had Battalion Chief Jim Ruiz here last week. He was during all that fire. And I said, I'm apologizing to you. You guys were working your asses off.
Horrible.
And we're sitting with Red Cross eating. I said, why can't we go help the community? We don't have to put out a fire, but we can bring food. We can get people out. This man had 2 bedridden parents, and he couldn't get them out. While we're sitting down the hill.
We've got armored vehicles that could have gone in, and they're advanced life support ambulances.
Why are we sitting in the parking lot?
When they're sitting at S.E.B., nobody got deployed.
It's the worst thing you could do is tell a cop you can't do your job.
100%.
No, stand down is not in our blood, especially sheriffs. I'm sorry. We're just...
It's because the man doesn't know his department to know what he has available. How many detectives can I activate? What can I do here? Why are we not on 12 of 12s already? What's going... He doesn't know. And his failures are showing. And that's when I was talking earlier about community safety. Here's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Homeless is through the roof. You're trying to tell me crime rate's down?
No.
You know, say what you want about the ICE raids. I didn't like their tactics. You and I have been taught you need reasonable, probable cause, reasonable suspicion. You have to have standing, but you just can't run up and steal somebody. Mm-hmm. But what has that done? That's driven crime underground. Mm. They're not reporting crime in the Hispanic community. Where's your sheriff, who's supposed to be the mouthpiece, saying, hold on a minute, why aren't you out in the community trying to put out that? Why are the deputies here? Well, we're not helping ICE. We're protecting you because we see what happens if you try to invoke your First Amendment right, but you get carried away and assault the federal officers. It's not good. Mm. I'm here to protect you, and I'm here to protect them. That's what the sheriff should be. Where is he?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. And the only one that came out and spoke was Jim McDonald. But you're the sheriff. You got 5 stars for a reason. He has 4. You're the chief law enforcement executive. Step up, take accountability, and own this, and get out in your communities. Serial killer in Compton in the homeless community. 4 victims. The only reason it came to light was the last victim was an NFL lineman. 4 victims, October to January. That's a definition of a serial killer. Where's the sheriff down there talking to the Compton community?
Nope.
He's nowhere to be found.
No bad sound bites. No bad light. That's his job, though, to get out there and tell the people what's going on. Calm the people.
Take the temperature down.
That's what he's supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what you need to, and you need to be out there doing it. Town halls, in the community, talking to them. Hey, we're not doing ICE's job. That's not our job. We don't do it. But I am going to protect them. I'm going to protect the community.
You know what deputies are great at? They're great at talking to the community.
Oh, amazing.
They're
not all the time. Sometimes.
But just not on a crime. I'm talking to somebody at a store or in a park or in a corner. They'll get out of their car. We did. And we'll just talk to people that are just standing around and having a chat. They're not afraid to talk to people when it's not law enforcement related. It's just, how are you guys doing? I'm gonna walk into a park and sit with people and just talk to them. They're not afraid to do it. I've seen them do it all the time, especially when I was working dope because you're undercover. But I think it's from the jails they learn to communicate in a way that they can talk to anybody about anything. They're very, very good at it.
You said something a while ago that I got to disagree with you a little bit. And you said, we don't have the resources for YAL or deputies like that. Yeah, we kind of do.
As a deputy,
At the deputy level on the line, they'll do it.
I know they do it, but I mean, that's a guy could be pushing a radio car. They could do, a civilian could do YAL. I'm talking about getting the guys back in the field, and I can tell you.
I agree with you, but I love
the program.
Yes.
And my friends, 3 of the last, they were YAL guys. They're going to be pissed at me. I understand it. I get it. And as a kid, I grew up before Prop.
And like 13, you said, if we had the resources.
Then maybe when we get the numbers back up, put them back out there. But right now, I'm talking about the guys who are doing double triples. Can't get a day off. You can't go to their kids' birthday parties. Missing things because they're getting drafted or they're getting held over or they're just being told you got to do another shift. That's where I'm at because that's what I'm hearing.
Could not agree more.
I can't go to this. I can't go to that because I get called in or whatever. And I understand why I was great. I was a recipient of it. I lived at Roosevelt Park in Firestone. I lived there. I was always playing in that park, and we had people there. But right now, it's not the time.
No,
and
I agree with you. And to that point, there's things I think we can do to help bridge that gap. We have trustees at every station. Mm-hmm. We feed them every day. Throw away food all the time. Why don't we make some of that food available to the homeless?
Yeah.
A woman that's living in a car with her kids, have them come in and get a meal in a safe environment. Talk to the deputies. Because who's your witnesses? Who's your victims to the next crime? That's bridging that gap. You give them a hot meal. You give them something to eat at a safe place to do it. You brought them into us as opposed to the deputies not trying to find time to go out to them. Mm-hmm. You do it both at the same time. Mm-hmm.
I get a lot.
Who's going to be your witness to the? Hey, how many times did somebody come forward when you were there and said, "I know who the shooter is"?
It's always the resource. You want the people to tell you. They're your best people. Your best resource as a detective 22 years, is your people. You want civilians to trust you, and they're going to give you those calls. They're going to help you. There's a lot of things I wanted to talk about, but there's more priority on the deputies in the field because that's my audience, my field deputies.
That's the backbone of our department.
My Lancaster guys text me emails all the time, and they're really, really trying to figure it out, and I want to give them hope. I want to give them some kind of future to look at and go, man, it's going to get better because they're going to leave our department. They're all leaving the department, and they're just looking for these big bonuses, but they're going to realize when they get to those departments, they're not going to like it. The Sheriff's Department is still the best department in the world.
By far.
So the greener pastures isn't going to be greener. It's just not. You're going to feel the difference. You were raised in a house that's the sheriff's, and you're not going to go to some different house and be comfortable. You're not. You're going to be surrounded by guys that don't have the same mindset.
Why did we come on our department? First off, it's the best department in the nation, if not the world. The legacy was there, which is being tarnished now. Mm-hmm. But you could work a different job every year for 30 years and not do the same thing.
Yeah.
You could drive a bus, you could work the courts, you could work the jail, you could work detectives, you could work narco, you could fly helicopters, you could drive boat. Where do you get that in Inglewood?
Mm-mm.
Where do you get that? And now Whittier PD is losing Santa Fe Springs.
Yeah.
Whittier PD, I think they had a day where every single shift was ex-deputies.
Yeah.
But you've got to drive around in that city for 30 years. And if there's a sergeant that doesn't like you, you've got to live with him.
You're done.
Lancaster, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't know if you know that Rex Parris endorsed me.
Did.
Because I went up to Rex and I had a conversation about the North County. I'd like to see an assistant sheriff dedicated to the North County.
It should be. It's another department.
And you need to have that level of executive decision-making immediately and not...
Absolutely.
So I visited the Lancaster Police Department. Rod Armelin put together, that Rex put together. You ever seen it?
No, but I know Rod.
Technology is amazing.
He's a good dude.
But they're only there, they're like CSOs on steroids. Mm-hmm. They're there to help the deputies. They know that's their mission. Mm-hmm. That's all they want to do. Talk to the community, do that. It's a great model because we're so short up there. Mm-hmm. And the deputies need the help. I agree with you. They've been neglected for a long time in North County. Mm-hmm. Palmdale, Lancaster, Santa Clarita, even out to Malibu.
Great
North County.
Hard workers out there.
Oh, my gosh, dude. I did a lot of work with them at S.E.B. and K9, and they work in an environment that I don't know how they work there.
Backup is 10, 15 minutes away.
Why do they not have drones?
I don't understand.
So they know what they're coming into. There's technology.
Yeah.
And by the way, Lancaster PD has 4 drones.
No way.
The sheriff doesn't want to use them.
No. Why?
Because
it's a resource. Technology is outstanding. I love technology. If you can use
good technology.
If you know how to use it, it's good.
Absolutely. We talked about video arraignment. There's going to be AI report writing. There's going to be things. The report writing is a little dangerous because you've got court documents that you can't AI that or chat GPT. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
But there are things that can. Drones are amazing.
Yeah.
And that's not a new technology. We're behind it.
Mm-hmm. We should be in front of it.
But you've got deputies up there in radio cars with 200,000 miles, and that heat and that cold. Mm-mm. No, that's not okay.
We got to bring the deputies back together, though. I think they're better together. Right now, they're all separate. The jails are separate from patrol. They don't even talk. They don't even coordinate. They don't band together. You can see it by how they vote on union stuff. Deputies are always in the jails always get suckered into money instead of something that's actually better for them. And they got such big numbers, they can change anything. The patrol guys need to talk to the jail deputies. I hate the fact that DB doesn't go to briefing. OSS doesn't go to briefing. Narco doesn't go to briefing. If these guys have no leadership, they should join together. They should band together. The guys should come together and start talking to each other, start forming whatever kind of unions they want besides their stupid union. I'm just going to say stupid because they're doing stupid shit. And form their own alliance together because they're stronger than everybody. If they can start talking with one voice, they'll be listened to. But they're all fighting each other and not talking to each other. Even some things that happen here, some stations don't want this station. I mean, that's bullshit.
It's what you just described is the entire department from the top down right now. It's so siloed. It is so siloed. We used to just work together, and that communication of, hey, I got this going, I got that going, was how it worked. Mm-hmm. But now everybody's so afraid, and it's come down. I couldn't agree with you more.
If the deputies in DB just went to briefing once, twice, 3 times a week, the patrol guys would get closer to them, and they would become a little group. And if the OSS guys did it, if everybody did it, that would start there. And let's just say we started pushing the ride-alongs again. Hey, you guys, I know you're working your asses off, but once a month, come out and ride in this station, and we'll help you get to patrol. Start pushing this group effort instead of pushing people apart, because I think they do it on purpose. I think the brass and the government and the media has pushed everybody apart on purpose. And they don't understand that they're stronger together and they can do more together because the numbers and the voices have to be multiplied for the brass to do shit. Luna will do more if his department joins together and tells him to do more. He's going to feel the
will
pressure
he?
of it. He's going to feel pressure.
I don't know if he knows how.
Well,
There's the problem. Those around him need to. He doesn't know how.
but those people around him would tell him, hey, man, the peasants are at the gate, bro.
Which is what they're not saying right now. The
Yeah.
peasants are at the gate.
But these guys
Our
are
deputies
they're
are
not
dying.
They're strong men and women. They can do more. They're fighting each other right now. They don't want to talk to each other. Nobody wants to organize, and I think they should organize. I think they should organize around police work, and they could do it. It starts with the older guys getting the younger guys and saying, no, we're not going to let this go away. We're not going to let our department go to shit. We're going to bring it back. They can do what they want in the department. The brass, the ivory tower can do whatever the hell they want. The field guys, we're still going to do our job. We can't do as many stops because of that stupid way they make you do every call now. We can do some really quality stops. Get in the cage, start arresting. DB, we're going to file more. Start doing work.
I'm not here to tell war stories, but exactly what you said, I remember back working the field at East LA as a patrol deputy. Homicide would come and talk to you.
Yep.
Gil Carrillo and the fellas they'd be there. OSS would be there. They'd come to your call. They'd talk to you. They would engage with you. I don't know if because of the workload and the overtime and all that, they could even do that now. But to your point, invaluable.
Yes.
Go to a briefing. Talk about, hey, this is what we're hearing. If you guys are working that area, could you look for this? That's how it has to be, but it needs to start at the top. But we need to give the deputies a break that are on their third double. And they're not even hearing it. They're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Fight or flight, like we talked about earlier. But to the point I was making of it's so siloed, the suicides.
Oh, God. Yep.
But you have a sheriff. I don't know if you know the one where we lost two in a 24-hour period with the 14-year-old daughter.
Yes.
And you know where your sheriff was?
Nope.
He was at he was in Palm Springs at the Contract Cities barbecue. So the one little girl took her life. The sergeant's daughter took her life on a Friday night. That didn't start till Saturday. He didn't go. He has drivers. He didn't go. He didn't even send an assistant sheriff from custody who worked with that sergeant, the mom, as a bonus back in the day. She didn't go. Terrible. The dad's LAPD. LAPD went deep. We didn't.
They're supposed to. We're supposed to.
We didn't. Fast forward 24 hours later, a deputy from fire camps, inmate services deputy, married to a Lakewood deputy, takes his own life. That's Saturday afternoon, 24 hours later after the first one. Luna's aware of it because it was a worst kept secret at the conference. Everybody's texting. He didn't go. Him and his wife went to the pool. Nobody went to that house in Pico Rivera. You have a driver. A deputy just took his own life, and his wife is your deputy. And the conference is over. He didn't go. So what is his dedication and allegiance to our department? No.
None. Zero.
None.
He's a visitor.
But he wants to stand there and take all the awards and accolades. Stolen valor. He didn't earn it. He didn't build the legacy. And he doesn't really embrace it. He'll tell you he does. But what does his actions speak louder than words? Where is he with our deputies? Where is he with professional staff? Where is he? They keep promoting. And honestly, at some point, you got to hit the brakes on that. Because as you promote, you're pulling from the line.
Yeah.
You're pulling from the deputies to promote. I get it. We need supervisors. You do. And you need good supervisors. But at some point, you don't have the resources to keep doing it. You have to pump the brakes. You have to realign things and put 8 sergeants back on the field as opposed to riding one level force with a take-home car. Sorry for that team.
What do you think about recruiting? Getting new guys. What is your plan for getting new guys?
Recruiting?
Yeah.
We'll come back when you have the right sheriff in charge.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said. We don't have legacies anymore.
No.
Nobody wants their kid to be on the department. You and I both know people that have men and women that are old enough to be deputies go anywhere but there. Okay. Anywhere but there.
You're right.
Once you see the support, once you see the department coming back to where it is, and you start getting the support for our personnel, and we're not vilified and everybody's saying you're a deputy gang member, because you keep pushing that narrative that's false and it vilifies the deputies, and the deputies are out working, but what does everybody say? Oh, you're a gang member. Okay, stop saying that, Mr. Luna. Quit saying you'll eradicate deputy gangs that don't exist and vilifying your deputies because it makes their job harder, that's when you start recruiting and you start getting back again. The world's coming to us. The World Cup's coming, the Super Bowl's coming, the Olympics are coming. We're not ready.
We're not even close.
Not even close. So you know how you do it? You start cutting back on contracts. Sorry, we don't have, they're going to have the Contract City barbecue out in Palm Desert again in about a week or so. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry, we don't have the personnel to send. We can't afford it. He had an executive day about a month or so ago in Burbank. Captains and above, the entire department went for an 8-hour day of campaign promises from him. How much did that cost?
Why?
Yeah.
They already work for him.
All the captains and above, everybody on the department went.
What were they going to do?
Well, I asked, did anything come out of it? Any
What was the
nuggets of strategy? It was just a campaign. This is the best sheriff ever. You got to vote for. Are you kidding me right now? How much did that cost? We're broke. $150 million deficit right now on the backs of our deputies who are working all this. The overtime is unconscionable.
Yeah.
Problem is they're getting used to the money too.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that. I remember that from when we were there. But
yeah, what happens, you end up losing it when the money goes away. And now you got trying to sell your jet skis and your houses and that.
But more than that, your health takes a hit.
Of course.
Your marriages take a hit.
You don't
Your
feel that till
family-
you're 60 like me now.
Right?
You feel it all now.
He doesn't, you got to know the historical to fix it. And he's not, he's just playing, he's politicized the sheriff's office. It's a political theater for him. And he has hurt our deputies. He continues to hurt our deputies. The department's not going to be, you're not going to recognize it if he has 4 more years.
No, it's not going to change. It's going to get worse.
Where are we going to be?
Yeah, it's going to get worse. Well,
and there's people from the outside that actually want that to happen. They want that failure. And he needs to stand up against that. But honestly, the communities we serve, and you know as well as I do, you go out and you would talk to them. They love us out there. They love the deputies out there. They wouldn't want anybody but their deputies. We'll get back to that. That's how we recruit.
I hope so.
That's where we recruit from the communities, from the military, from... How about we go to the community colleges and say, hey, man, I'll pay your community college tuition if you come work for us.
It's outstanding.
Professional staff for deputy. You give incentives. How much is community college tuition?
Well, what does it cost to train a deputy now? What?
Oh, it's a lot.
It was $100,000 when I was there.
I think that's probably double that.
Okay. And every time someone laterals, you lose that.
Yep.
What does it cost to give them an incentive? Hey,
Thank you.
Here's $5,000 to come to our department. You sign a 5-year contract. We'll give you $10,000 if you sign a 15-year contract. Whatever it takes, some kind of incentive and lock in. They'll come, now they have to stay. I get it. Some people want to say, well, you're making them indentured servants or whatever. That's bull. You don't have to sign the contract. But a couple bucks, $200,000 for training, and that guy walks off and goes to Huntington Beach
Happens
PD.
every day.
Every day. Give the new recruits, and I don't even care, give them $10,000 just to sign with the sheriff's department. You have to graduate, and you have to sign a contract for a year or 2, whatever it takes. Because I think if you get back in there and you're running the department, they'll stay because we'll take it back to where it used to
100%.
be. And that incentive is nothing compared to what they're going to lose if the guy walks out the door. I think that's the thing. I wish that someone would do that because I think also
Now you're
members.
in my head. That's where I was saying, even something as simple as community college tuition. We get student workers back in the force. We get them to the point where they don't even have to be sworn.
Yep.
How about professional staff? You want to come join our ranks of professional staff? I'll pay your tuition. How much is college? Community college? A few grand?
Yeah.
As opposed to $100,000 in training?
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I agree with you. And you want to incentivize bringing them back.
Yeah, and military too. You could even start working with military. Like we want a list of your guys getting out that aren't re-upping, and maybe we can work together and try to get guys to be reserves in your department. See, whatever, Army, Navy, Marines. We'll help that. You help us. Guys, they're just walking out that already said we're separating. Can we get a list of them? And we'll start trying to pump them in our sheriff's department.
We talked about it a minute ago. He's vilified deputy sheriffs
I know.
with this whole deputy gang thing. And that's resonated. There's lawsuits right now that where if a deputy is held civilly liable, they're not going to cover the deputy's part of that liability if they have a tattoo or they're, but the defense attorney's just throwing it out. Oh, are you a gang member? Now what does the jury think?
Every
And
time.
a judge, objection sustained, but it's there. Now you're done because it's going to take 4, 5, 6, 7 years to come out from under that stigma.
Yeah, and he did it himself.
And he did it, and he's continuing to do it. There's other candidates in this race that are doing that. Stop it. Were there clicks? Absolutely. Sure there were. It was pure recognition back when it was started. It changed. I've likened it to a varsity letter. And that's what but it changed. And you need to change with it. And you need to understand it's a negative connotation now. Don't do that. And there's policies and laws in place to prevent the behavior if they cross the line, like anything else. If they commit a crime, we're going to hang you on it. But just to say they exist when they haven't been proven and nobody's done that behavior, you're hurting your deputies. You're vilifying the deputies. That poor guys and girls, they're out there handling a crime. Say, oh, you're just a gang member anyway. And they're just trying to do their job and protect their communities and support their families.
It's easy for him to get in front of a podium and say, we take every complaint, we take every force, and we take every, let's say, criminal, I would say, act that they say deputies are doing individually at with that person. We don't do groups, just like you wouldn't want us to do groups. That deputy does something wrong, we take him and deal with it. And that deputy does force, we take it and deal with it. We don't say, well, who are his friends? Who's his pal? No, we deal with that. And if there's more than one, we deal with both of them. And if we go through the investigation, we'll figure out what's going on.
100%.
I don't say, man, it's part of what I've been telling you. They're all gangs. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But he's doing it on purpose because he knows that resignation is going to get him reelected. If he keeps pushing it, he thinks that's what's going to happen. That's how he got there the first time. Stop doing the things that people in the community don't want us to do to them. That's a group think. We don't do groups. I don't just grab 5 guys off the street and say you all did something because one did it. Now, gang enhancement is always certain crimes.
Correct.
And you got 3 or more persons, common sign or symbol. I testified a couple times to it. This isn't that. You got a bunch of guys who's more like a fraternity, hanging out. A lot of it's, I'm going to say it out loud, is drinking beer, hanging out, telling stories about what they did for the shift. None of that gang shit. It's just like the Marines have their tattoos. There's nothing like that. But there are bad people everywhere.
100%.
You deal with them individually, and if they I don't want to wear my uniform if they're bad. I don't want dirty cops around me. No one's going to protect dirty cop. We don't protect dirty cops. I want nothing to do with them. So this thing of we all protect each other, no. It's not like that. It's never been like that, man. You're embarrassed of them. You do something wrong. And when I was at Tech Ops, we got those cases where those guys should be in prison. And I helped.
A lot of them ended up there.
And I helped because they weren't deputies. They were criminals.
100%.
And they got into the department, however they got there, or they turned into while they were there. That's fine. They deal with it. And they went and they paid their price. That's okay.
But you just hit on something. It was the behavior.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you have a tattoo. Just the fact that you have friends. What's the behavior that's crossing the line? There is none. Mm-hmm. If you cross that line with your behavior, then yeah, there's laws and there's policies to prevent that. Actually, I'm the only one so far. When I was the assistant sheriff, 3 sergeants down at CRDF were bullying and hazing deputies. And I popped all 3 of them out of there based on that.
Yeah.
And the deputies one was suicidal.
Ooh.
When I found out about it, we're going to impose this policy, which nobody's ever used, for anti-bullying and hazing. It was more effective. Their behavior crossed the line, and they paid the price for it.
You dealt with it.
And they paid to the severity that I could.
Yes.
Because you don't do that to our deputies. You don't do that to your partners. You don't do that. That's the behavior. That's what we need to focus on, like you said, individually. If we see a pattern,
gone.
Then we have a problem.
Yeah, they're going to get dealt with. And they deserve an investigation just like anybody in the street. They deserve due process just like anyone in the street. You don't get in front of a podium and start pointing names and pointing people out and yelling names. You don't do that. So that shows me his incompetence to go out there and willy-nilly just say stuff without having any kind of proof. You're a cop. Everything takes
It's actually
proof.
dangerous because you vilified
Well,
the whole department. Now, you said deputy gang enough to where it's now a word that it's a made-up word, but now people think, oh, there's deputy gangs everywhere. No, there isn't.
I got asked that question Saturday at a picnic. I did, straight to my face. Is there deputy gangs? And I had to go through my whole, which channel are you watching?
If you say it enough, but remember I was talking earlier about you got to work with OIG, you got to work with the COC,
Yeah,
you got to work with them.
Of course.
And you prove the facts to them, and you have that conversation with them till we start taking down the temperature, quit saying it, that it'll take a few years now because the damage is done.
Well,
But you could turn the narrative back to you need to trust these deputies. They're not gang members. They're not doing – if there are, we got them. There's warranted oversight that we have on that, but there needs to be a behavior and proof that they're there, and that's not there.
but he ran on that. He just did 4 years to get rid of it. It was proven it's not a thing. So what? I'm going to do it my next 4 years, or I missed it. I wasn't good enough. The last 4 years I wasn't good enough to catch all these bad people. It's already been proven it's not a thing. Now what's his new thing? He keeps saying the same shit over and over again.
Yes.
But someone needs to call him on that you were proven wrong. You lied to get elected. Now what's your plan for this 4 years?
Okay, I'll even give him this, and I don't want to give him much. I don't know if he intentionally lied. Maybe back then he believed the narrative and he thought there was, but he should be educated enough now after 4 years to know, okay, that was not true. That was an urban legend.
He's our age. 90s, they tried the same shit.
But I mean, the deputy gang stuff, he should know now.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
So stop saying it and actually say I was wrong.
Yes, 100%. So you know what? We've implement procedures in place. Even the cliques and subgroups that did exist, I'll concede that. I knew them. We're stopping it because it's a behavior that we don't need. It's a negative but there are no deputy gangs.
No.
And it's hurting the deputies to say, and it's actually hurting the community and the department because of the liability. Every juror is going to award more money based on that, and it's going to cost the taxpayers more because you keep perpetuating the false narrative.
Yeah.
There's liability attached to that. Stop saying it. It's costing money.
Yeah.
All a defense attorney has to say is, oh, are you a deputy gang member? And there's no support. They just throw it out there, and what's the jury doing? There's another zero.
They ask me at OSS all the time. I testified as expert how many hundreds of times because I was there 11 years. They asked me about tattoos. They asked me about gangs. Never got past the objection because they did this in the 90s. The same thing started. We're going to go after, there was gangs. It was Linwood. Remember, they're going after Linwood guys. They were doing all that. So they repeated it and then he's trumpeting it. When he didn't realize from history, it doesn't exist.
Correct.
And Long Beach has tattoos. I'm going to say it right now. So your guys, what did you do there? So every department, every police department has tattoos. Every military unit has tattoos. They just do. You're going to say only the sheriff's department, you came here to clean it. What he should say is, I was wrong, and I'm so happy to say I was wrong.
Yeah. Because
my guys, my department there's no gangs, and I'm so proud to be representing them as their sheriff. I feel better now.
Can you hear that coming out of his mouth ever?
I'm so proud of these guys. I can't wait to lead them to the future. I was sorry I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. Let's move on. I'll be a better sheriff next 4 years. I won't accuse them anymore of things that I can't prove or aren't true. That would be fantastic. In fantasy land right now, I know.
And we have implemented policies and laws to prevent that type of behavior if it ever did occur.
But the behavior's always been against the law. It's always been against policy.
Thank you.
Always been. I couldn't do anything illegal in my department. I get fired or I get days off or I get written up. That's the rules. I go to prison if I did something.
And it happens all the time.
It happened to a lot of people.
Yep.
I know people that went to jail because they did stupid shit. So nothing's changed. Let's just change the word of it and say it's a gang thing. We got to start writing these policies. But it's always been policy. You couldn't do stupid shit. You can't tell me what I can put in my body. Just like I can't tell your kid what he can put on his body. Can't do shit. That's my body. So you're gonna try to write a law to say I can't do certain things to myself. It doesn't work like that.
No, and they won't pass that law.
No, it's not going to happen.
That's the United States of America and the First Amendment. You can't.
Never going to happen.
They came close as they could come. They pushed it with the law. But they even realized, no, it has to be behavior. It can't be just a tattoo, a common symbol. It has to be associated with the activity or the behavior.
It used to be the dirty, he had a list of crimes, but that's not the case here. This is just them trying to, weaken the sheriff's department. And he's doing a really good job of weakening the sheriff's department.
You just took the words out of my mouth. He has. And every time he opens his mouth and says that, it hurts the department. The money's not there. He's run us into a $150 million deficit. The equipment's not there for the deputies. The cars aren't there. The technology's not there. But he's trying to say he's the best sheriff ever.
Let me give you more. I'm going to give him more. I'm going to be his advocate for a minute. He was a cop. He wore a uniform. He got sworn in. He worked a beat. He did patrol. He was a cop, Long Beach PD. He knew what it took to do the job. He had to do it every day. Mm-hmm. For him to come around and say, I'm going to just blanket my whole, let's just say it was Long Beach. All these guys are bad because whatever they're saying they are, the gang, whatever. What kind of cop is that? What kind of cop walks into briefing and says, you guys on that side of the room are all bad people and you need to quit? What cop would do that ever in the history of being a cop? You might have issues with certain people, but you would never, ever put somebody in a group as a cop because you don't do that to anyone. So how does he walk around with his uniform on right now saying, I'm a cop or I was a cop? He's just completely turned his back on what he knows is right and wrong. Because as a cop, you have to take all the evidence and evaluate your evidence and make decisions off of all your evidence, the totality of all the evidence. And you put it together and you go, I got a case here. And this is my decision because of all this evidence. So he's doing exactly opposite of what he was trained to do. Because he was a trained cop. He went to the academy. And he might have even been ours. I'm not sure how long he's been on.
Long Beach has their own academy.
But it was closed for a while. I remember we got hit.
That's right, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I doubt. He probably went to theirs.
Yeah, remember I don't know if he was in that time. But you're taught. You never just make blanket statements. You never just put people in a bubble, ever. Because it's usually wrong, first of all. It's usually wrong. You have to take individuals. But he's going around saying exactly opposite what he knows. That must take so much effort to do opposite of what you feel and what you know.
You're giving him more credit than I would. I think it's telling who he considered his mentor. And he embraces Gascon's political theories, political formula, political progressive wokeness. And I think that's where he comes from. So
his group from Long Beach, they're the same. They turn their back on their profession and what they know is right and wrong, because it's wrong. It's completely wrong.
I don't know how the Long Beach administration is now, but if you remember when he was a deputy chief and the chief retired, and we talked about this earlier, he was next up, and they went out and got Jim McDonald to be their chief.
They didn't want him.
So I don't think Tiger's showing his stripes. I think it's always been there.
Okay.
And I think now it's just come under the light because he can't hide it.
I had the same discussion with David Infante, lieutenant, and he told me we had a discussion about how people think when they get power they turn bad. He thinks it's inherently in them before, and now that they have the power, they show their true stripes, like you say. So you're saying that's true too. I think it's already in him.
What is it? Absolute
power.
Absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's Dan Light's line.
I've always I had a couple role models in my day, mentors. Sid Heel, Tom Spencer.
Oh,
those who I patterned myself after as a supervisor, as a manager, as a chief and assistant sheriff. those are my role models, that you don't buy into that narrative. You're the guy that can get a cup of coffee or the first one through the door. You do the job, you do it humble, and you take care of those around you because you're nothing without them. He forgets his department is around him. He's surrounding himself with politics. He's lost his focus if he ever had it. He's embracing that progressive. Let me give you an example. I'm a Catholic. My Catholicism works for me. I'm faith. He claims he's Catholic, and Planned Parenthood endorsed him, and he's advocating himself as the person for reproductive rights. And the audience could have their own faith and whatever, but when you claim one thing, you can't have it both ways. That bothers me. So where's the man playing to? It's to
whoever's there. Whoever's audience is, he's going to say what they want.
When you refer to the inmates in custody as your clients, who are you talking to?
The news, to advocates, not to the
He
department.
stumbled upon a word. He was the patient. The doctors in the jails call them patients, and I understand that. They're doctors. They're doctors. Remember where they're coming from. But when you're the sheriff and you refer to them as clients, you've gone too far. Too far, because you've empowered their behavior. There's got to be accountability. The homeless plan, I don't know if you saw my plan on how I'm going to return people into the community, and we're going to do a communication network with all the chiefs of police. So everybody knows they're coming back out. Here's their case manager. And part of the reason I'm doing that is I'm synopsizing a much more robust plan. There's going to be a lifetime communication where if you're going back to Inglewood or you're going to San Dimas or you're going to Century and you're returning to where you were arrested, they're going to know you're coming back. And here's the community caseworker that's assigned by the courts or whoever. If you see him coming back and homeless or drug addicted, substance abuse, contact that caseworker. Get him resources. If they don't want it, it's accountability. There's a bed with your name on it. We're going to make you accountable. But what does that also make accountable? That caseworker that we've notified 5 times that hasn't showed up, now we know where some of that $2 billion is going. We're going to do a coalition. We're going to do this all together with from the courts all the way down to probation, the DA, the PD, the APD, and every chief of police and every station captain will know who's coming back, substance abuse, mentally ill, whatever. We'll give them the support. I'm all for rehabilitation and support, responsible. But if they just want to come back and affect the quality of life in our community, you're going to be held accountable.
Well, a couple things. Inmates don't give a shit about being called inmate. The people complaining about calling them clients are, for a while, they're trying to call them residents.
No. Persons in our care, inmates, they don't care.
They're outsiders trying to advocate for the people in jail. The people in jail don't give a shit about any of that. None of the inmates I've ever dealt with cared
agreed.
How I addressed them. I called them what I called them. As long as they had their food, their time, their cards, their phone calls, their visits, they don't give a shit. They know they're doing their time. So who are they trying to help? If I call someone's brother who's in jail for robbery client, is that going to take him out of jail? Is that going to make him feel better? Is he going to sleep better at night? No, it doesn't mean shit. So it's all symbolic. It's a waste of time. And the other thing is, like, when we're talking about helping the homeless and helping the drug addicted, my issue is the sheriff's department isn't social services. Our job is to enforce the law. If we start with, if I see you're under the influence, you go to jail. It's a crime.
There you go.
If you're standing in the middle of the street with a trash can lid.
You see where when I'm talking about my communication network?
Of course.
Who knows they're coming back?
We would.
The deputies.
It's just like probation parole. We used to go to their hearing. When they released, we would be in this room and all the parolees would sit in the room and OSS would interview all our gangsters. They stopped calling us. We saw that coming. They stopped calling us and we get all our gangsters going, oh, you're going back to the one ways. Where are you going to live? Where are you going to be? Where's your job? And now, but it's more so is they know, we know they're out. Same thing with, you could do that with them. So I know it works. It does work.
And you're understanding where I'm going with
yes.
it. It's twofold. We notify the community caseworkers, but now the deputies who have had a rash of burglaries when that guy was out,
they know.
They're alerted because the homeless are committing crime, another unreported crime. It's happening in the homeless communities.
Yeah.
They're not, the homeless are not slinging narcotics to the homeless. People from the outside are bringing it in. And we know for a fact you have organized criminals dressing like that, and they're coming in. They're dressing down like homeless. They're selling the drugs. Let's attack that.
God, you've watched this podcast.
Are we done?
I've said that 100 times. No, that's perfect. I mean, they don't make it. They just wait for it to be delivered. So someone's bringing it to them. So we can affect the arrest on the dope dealers, and we can arrest them under their influence. We can do those two things. Now, I know people will always say, well, it's a drug addiction is a disease and all this stuff. So let's just say we're not going to deal with the people they're using. Let's just deal with the people who are bringing them the drugs. Certain things are happening right now where boats are being blown up. So drugs aren't coming in sometimes as much. If we can cut off the guy who wants to sell it by taking his ass to jail, now they have to find a new dope dealer. So sooner or later, we're going to find out where the dope is being sold, who's bringing it in. Do our job and slow the flow. And we're helping the people that are addicted to it because they can't get as much.
40% of the people getting released are overdosing and dying within 48 hours.
Absolutely.
And the reason being is twofold. One, they're getting that medically assisted treatment in the jails.
Mm-hmm. And they're going back in.
But the problem is when they go back with the same dose that they thought they were cool, and they're dying.
Exactly.
But the problem is they're dying in the parks, they're dying on the subways, they're dying in the streets, and they're dying where our deputies and the community have to deal with it.
Yep.
We're failing.
Yes.
I remember back when I was working patrol, there was a place down on Santa Fe, downtown LA, where if you had somebody that was drunk in the street or whatever, you could actually take it and drop it off there. My vision at the end of the day is to create what I'd call a B5 facility, 849 B5.
Yeah.
A B5 says that deputy could take that person,
Release them too.
take him to this facility that has medical and mental. The money's there. The board's paying for all this money. It's all there. And drop them off. You B5 them. There was never a record of that. You didn't kidnap them. That's what we need. You need a B5 facility so these deputies could get them out of their area, off the street, and get them the help they need. Will it stick? Maybe not. Maybe, who knows? You need to protect our communities, but I want to empower our deputies in the field to know they're coming back, to know the detectives, oh, I've dealt with that guy. He's a serial burglar.
Every time.
Guarantee the burglaries are going to rise in that area. He's back, but they know ahead he's back. That's the beauty of it.
They don't have jobs. They have to get money somewhere. The drug users steal to provide for their habits. That's the fact. So if I can stop him from going to that community and stealing again, that's great. I love what you're talking about.
So to your point, though, where you said, well, we're not social workers. We're not. But at the end of the day, there's associated crime.
Of course.
And you can't separate it. That's the problem. And if not us, who?
Yeah.
Deputies have always stepped up and done. It would be like a call for service between jurisdictions. Who always took it?
We did.
We did.
We did. But I would say the people that are living in the community with the drug addiction and the tents and the problems, they don't want me to be a social worker. They want me to take him
100%.
and take him out of my neighborhood. All they want is I don't want to see him. I don't want my kids walking by the tents on the way to school. I don't want to have to walk my child to the bus stop every single day because I can't trust anybody out there. That's what they care about. And I can help them with that by taking them to jail if they're under the influence, taking them if they're trespassing. I can do things that is my job. Now, if there's services, that's great. But my first priority should be the people in the neighborhood who I don't want to, I wouldn't want in my neighborhood, you wouldn't want it in your neighborhood. So you can say, well, you're doing all these mean things, but would you want it in your neighborhood? Absolutely not.
No.
You would complain, you would call the cops, you would call the sheriff and say, there's a guy in the middle of the street doing the moonwalk, or he's doing that freaking backspin they do, where they just don't know what they're doing. Get him out of my neighborhood. They would all do it. But they can be advocates when it's not in their neighborhood. I'm speaking for the people that are in the neighborhood that I grew up in. My dad would have called and said, you take care of this, or I'm taking care of it.
100%. And we would. And the jailers loved it when you brought them in, by the way.
Well, you still have 72. You have rotate a book. You have to do things.
100%.
You can't take a guy who's under the influence off his mind to jail. You're not going to take him. You have to take him somewhere to get. He's got to get detox first of all.
If we can get him services before that,
That's what I mean.
that's what we need to bring. And who's the tip of the spear to bring those? A deputy.
Always a deputy.
And that's fine. but you don't want to tie him up with that either. Say, hey, come on over. Joe's over here. He's under the influence. Okay, we'll take him. If not, he's going to jail because the community safety is first. And actually Joe's safety because there's needles, there's this, there's that. The fentanyl. I mean, the fentanyl is out of, when I had the jails as assistant sheriff, I put Narcan on the walls in the housing because they were dropping dead in 30, 40 seconds. We didn't know what we had at first. Remember when the Biden opened borders?
Yeah.
They were just, wow, and it's in the communities now. But they've got these new dope. You probably know better than I do. The Narcan doesn't work on.
No, I know. Synthetic stuff.
Trank and ketamine, all these different things.
Stuff, yeah.
But our young men and women are working out there in that. The deputies and the CAs in the jails are working in that. We need to get them the help they need to do their job and protect them, which is training and other things. And now there's no money for that.
But they're getting hit with it. They're in
100%.
They're getting close to death. A couple of guys have died from it. Not us, but other departments. That stuff is lethal, man.
When I was there and we had our first couple times where it's exposure, I actually brought S.E.B. hazmat in.
You have to.
Because it was better than the fire department for evidence collection. And they didn't mind. They were better at it. And even they were like, this it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
And our guys are, you search somebody and there it is. And we'll deal with it. And I know they have Eddie cars that will respond and take them away. And they have they have specific cars that will deal with mental health or under the influence.
Well, the Met team works. Not enough of them.
Yeah.
We don't have enough deputies. Here's the problem. 24% vacancy rate. Where do you put your resources?
But public health in LA has over 30,000 employees.
It's crazy.
30,000 employees. What the hell are they doing?
They're trying to say that homeless went down.
No.
It increased by 2.2% for unhoused families.
None of them.
7,000 unhoused families, which has increased. What's an unhoused family? It's not a mom and dad and 3 kids.
No.
It's a lady living in a car with kids and it's increasing. It's coming through. The dynamics have changed. And to your point, the deputies are the ones now, the front line to deal with it. Where is the mental health? We need to create a system to where, and it goes back to my communication system. Joe's coming back out. You're the caseworker. Get him resources before he violates or returns to that. That's why I want to do that. Because who's the linchpin to let them know they're getting released? The sheriff. It's a non-traditional role.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money out there, but everybody's siloed.
Yeah.
Everybody's siloed. You have really good rehab facilities that work very well. Most of them are faith-based. Yeah. The Dream Center, Union Rescue Mission, they're faith-based. The problem is the ODR housing, they lost 1,000 people last year. Self-report, we lost 1,000.
Really?
Okay, what other organization could you say I lost 1,000 people and we're still going to fund you fully? There's got to be accountability.
Yeah, of course.
Because somebody arrested those people, took them to jail, did the court, and got them into that housing. Where's that 1,000 people? I know where they're at. They're back in the street. They're back violating. We need to protect our communities and the deputies that have to deal with them over and over. We all dealt with them. Yeah. We knew the frequent flyers.
Well, you remember grants. Grants, you had to show what you were doing. These nonprofits, they get the money no matter what.
Nobody's watching.
And no one cares. Whether someone's in the door or not, they still get paid. And you have to be accountable for what your job is. I'm giving you, when we did grants, you had to count every arrest, every dollar. It had to go to specific things. You can only buy cars with this. You can only buy radios with that. The deputies are here. Civilians are here. And you weren't allowed to move those numbers at all. And that was a grant. And you're talking millions of dollars. When these nonprofits, they send them a check and they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. But no one checks to see if they're doing it. But that's what I'm trying to say is it's needed. What they said they were going to do is needed, but they're not doing it. So who's doing it? No one. So they're in the street again. Why can't we go check them and say, no, you're not doing it. They are faith-based. Let's give them the money. They can get more beds and they'll actually do the job.
So my coalition will do just that.
Yeah.
That model works. You don't. You're going to follow what they do. And now there's accountability. Mm-hmm. But you have to come under the same roof to do it.
Yeah.
And who is the only person that can do that in the county entity that has the courts and the jails and the patrol? Sure. It's the office of the sheriff.
Yep.
The non-traditional role. Mm-hmm. But it could be done. And there could be now accountability. Yeah, I want to help people recover. I want to see them do it. but I want to protect the communities. I want to protect our deputies that know they're coming back out. And by the way, you said it earlier, detectives, OSS, homicide, they want to know when they're coming back out.
Absolutely.
You got career criminals.
We went to every meeting.
Now if they know, hey, they're coming out and they're involved in this matrix, you're going to prevent crime or solve it a lot faster because they know. Because we don't have the resources to send. An ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. That's part of my philosophy here.
Right, you're right.
Is intel. It goes back to what you said earlier. We used to all talk. Okay, now I'm going to create a communication system where we all talk.
That works.
It does work.
It does work.
By the way, it's going to cost nothing. All the money's already there. We just need to make people accountable for it.
Well, as a sheriff, I would tell you, I would hope you understand that I fought that fight where we needed to get something up to him, and it didn't get there. There's buffers. There's walls. There's people that don't want to give bad news. There's people that don't want to give any news. They want no FaceTime. They're just hiding. How are you going to fix the fact that, how are you going to fix what was happening before in the last, 15 years, where they were hiding stuff and nothing got to the boss. And the boss was the one who should have known the decision or what was happening first. But they get these people that they're afraid to tell them. Are you gonna give your guys the tools and the power to tell you anything?
Yes. Everything.
And will you be mad if they don't?
Sometimes. Sometimes I'm going to be mad at what they tell me because I don't want to hear it. I'm Irish. That happens. But you need to hear it.
You got to deal with it.
And you surround yourself with people that are not afraid to tell you. Remember I mentioned earlier about the assistant sheriff for North County?
Yeah.
And having the authority and the executive level to make decisions. They'll make a decision. I'll say, why'd you do it? Okay. But you need to empower them. But I need to be, at the end of the day, I'm the guy in the chair. I need to know. And there'll be accountability there. If they don't tell you, if they try to hide something and you get caught, next.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of knowing the history of the department, the failures for the Baca administration, the failures of, and I knew where you were going.
Sorry.
No, but it's true. And by the way, actually, Lee Baca was a great sheriff for the community. He was involved, engaged, and they took advantage of he wasn't watching.
Yeah. And I was there. I was in the room for a lot of stuff where I'm like, this needs to go higher, you guys, but no one would tell them.
And it goes back to what I said earlier with my resume. Really, nobody has the highest level of experience that I have across the board. Even the previous sheriff from that doesn't know the courts and the jails.
Just the jails alone. Just the jails alone.
Which is half your department.
It's the largest jail department, jail system in the world.
In the mental ill. And we need to get rid of CJ and get a new jail. There's things that I could advocate for, but you do it education-based. You teach the board why we need to do it. You tell them why we need to do it. And you work with them.
You get them invested.
But I would put people in place as executives in this department that know the department and want to work for the department, not the department work for them. They're on their third assistant sheriff in custody right now. They do a year, they check the box, they move along. Okay, no, that's not okay. We're not executives just to get paid and move on. I did 40 years and I'm ready to come back. I don't need the job.
There you go.
The department needs my experience. The men and women left behind, I can't look them in the eye.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart. I wore that badge for 37 years before it went assistant sheriff. And I look at people like you that wore that badge proudly, and I look at others that call me all the time, and then I look at him. And there's no integrity of the office. There's no, he doesn't embrace the department and its history and legacy. He'll tell you he does, but his actions speak louder than words. Just to put in there in the closing,
Yes.
what I had mentioned before we talked, why have we not had a debate on this?
Oh, Luna.
Why has Luna and the other candidates been able to question him? Where are the unions to putting a debate up with the current sheriff to know what his thoughts are on all this, to defend himself from all this? Maybe he's got answers. I'd love to hear him. We know he doesn't, but
He's not going to talk. He's not going to talk.
he's got everything to lose and nothing to gain.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, sir.
No, I appreciate your
Thank you
time,
so
brother.
much. You did
Appreciate
great.
your service for the county too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.